How you doing, everybody? This is Dr. Samori Swygert, and I just want to talk to you guys about what I call the five deadly venoms of humanity. And I'm going to give you the five deadly venoms, and they're in no specific order. I'm giving you numbers, but that's only so that you know that there are five things that I'm talking about. So, number one, race. Number two, class. Number three, religion. Number four, gender equality. And number five, sexual orientation or sexual preference. All right? I mention these because these seem to be the most frequent, repetitive, and yet divisive hurdles that we continuously trip and stumble over as we try to make progress as a human race. As much as we talk about making progression and we give all these utopian, kumbaya, we give this, oh, if everything was equal and there's equity and just justice for everybody, we still trip over these five hurdles: religion, race, class, gender equality, sexual orientation, and sexual preference. Now, I'm aware that you cannot change your ethnic, racial background. You can't do that. You'd have to pretty much resynthesize, rewire your DNA and the geographic locale that is derived from centrally. You cannot change your gender naturally. I mean, we have, science and technology, but I mean, naturally, you born who you are as a gender. But class, religion, and sexual orientation, sexual preference, these things are kind of manipulative. They are not permanent structures. They are not permanent systems. These come and go over eras and periods of time, depending on social dynamics. What was the ruling hierarchy can fall through war, through revolt, a lot of different things, changes in philosophies and ideologies. Religion is a man-made phenomenon where people will decide, what God, what faith they choose to dedicate and commit their lives to, their spiritual following to, and live by standards that have been written by man for them to, follow and subscribe to. And sexual preference or sexual orientation, that is a choice when it comes to the practice. I'm not talking about the feeling or that the drive, the impulse, the impetus to be with somebody. Like, innately in me, I have a drive for women. Like, that's just me. I love women. But at the same time, I cannot go inside a woman's head and tell her that she's supposed to love a man. I cannot do that. I don't know if she actually may have an affinity for women the same way that I have an affinity for women. I can't explain that because I'm not inside her head. I'm not inside her heart. I'm everything that it takes for you to have sexual desires. You really don't know unless you're inside that person, unless you are that person. So it's hard to have that conversation for what it is. But the act is always a choice. You choose to have sex. Nobody's putting a gun to your head. It's always a choice whether you want to have sex heterosexually or homosexually. But there's always a a division. There's a fallout in society. There's a division upon humanity when we discuss that. And then when we talk about gender equality, there's always that push-pull dynamic when it comes to, you know, genders in society. Like we know, America has been traditionally been a white male dominated society. We can look at many countries across the earth, and a lot of them are dominated by males. And it depends on what people are accustomed to, what many prefer. But one thing is for sure, it is a divisive issue. And I just kind of want to find out, where do we, as advanced as we've become as humans now. I mean, we do science, we technology, we're synthesizing things, we're doing artificial intelligence, we're doing internet, we're doing fiber optics, Wi-Fi. Just we come up self-driving cars. We can text, and it's just so much. We FaceTime. We're putting spaceships in orbit. We got satellites. We have all of these sophisticated inventions and innovations and patents that the mind can conceive, but yet we keep tripping over these 5 things. And it's like, how do we as a human race progress? Or will these 5 things always permanently be the obstacles that stifle us? See, we might make progression in one, but then we'll trip over all the other ones. Or we may make progression in 2 and trip over all the other ones. And then my question is, what greatness lies? What greatness awaits? What peace and harmony awaits us if we somehow learn how to mend those 5 and solve those 5? Like, we have to sit down and come up with solutions. How do we prioritize how we tackle race? And what does true equity and true justice look like in all 5 fields, in race, religion, classism, sexual orientation, sexual preference, and gender equality? What does equality look like in all of them? And I know, like, it's hard to look, especially in the religious aspect. How do you say, like, well, my religion is equal to your religion? Because it's kind of more, it's not a quantitative thing. It's more of a qualitative thing, where we're not looking at numbers per se. It's more spirituality, it's ideology, it's practice. But when you look at everything, like, you look at Shintoism, Taoism, Buddhism, Judaism, Christianity, Islam, it's, all the different religions that are out there. How do we go about saying, listen, especially in today's climate now, we're in America, when we look at the political structure, the hottest thing on the table is, radical Islam. And it's like, how do we go about saying, I want to allow, respect, permit you, my brother and my sister, to practice your faith without impeding and intervening in your space? How do we harmoniously coexist, respecting yours and reciprocally you're respecting mine, while being great stewards and guardians of this earth? If we destroy it, it's on us. The onus is on, the blood is on our hands if we let these 5 things destroy us. We know for classism, we already know what corporate America's greed has done. We see it. We look at gentrification, We look at the buying up and privatization of natural resources, things that should just be natural to us. You know, you want to privatize water resources. You got companies in Canada that's now bottling air and selling air to China, to Chinese people. That's very true. You can Google that right now. It's a Canadian firm. When we let religion turn into war against each other, where we have we've let gender roles divide us as humans, and the effect of gender differences on the growth of the human race, and sexual preference, where people are being killed, beaten because of that. You also have people that are being labeled various terms and everything because of that. Yeah, people being blackballed for X, Y, and Z. What we're a human race, and a lot of the stuff is constructed out of people, individuals in power. They have mental paradigms of what they believe, and then they impose that on people of lesser power, and it becomes indoctrinated and practiced over years to decades to centuries to it almost becoming just a norm, an accepted norm. But a lot of these are man-made. So I just want to know what your thoughts are. Tired of rambling. Just kind of want to just stimulate thought for you guys. Listen, I'm not perfect at all. Open to criticism. I know the comment section probably going to go crazy. It is what it is. But these 5 deadly venoms of humanity: race, class, religion, gender equality, sexual orientation, sexual preference. What do you think is the most divisive? How do we prioritize and organize to try and solve it? What does equity and justice look like in each of the 5 categories? And what do we do? How do we make progress as a human race? All right, Dr. Samori Swygert. Peace.